Look what happened. Is this crazy? Donald Trump has been elected to a second term as president, defeating a resurgent Democratic nominee, Vice President Kamala Harris. The American people, dissatisfied with the country's direction, sought a change, and Trump, once again, was that change. His victory marks not just a political triumph, but the greatest comeback in modern American history. From being nearly cast aside by his own party to standing victorious despite 34 felony convictions, Trump's journey back to the White House was nothing short of remarkable. Let's break down the top 10 key moments that define this historic election.
What you will also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early, out of exhaustion and boredom.
The rocky start, a lone campaign launch. When Trump announced his third presidential campaign, he stood virtually alone. Major Republican figures, including his own children, were absent. The party had seemingly moved on, with many turning to other candidates just days after the GOP's disappointing 2022 midterm performance. Political analysts and mainstream media labeled his campaign dead on arrival. But Trump had something his competitors lacked: unwavering grassroots support. And soon, an unexpected series of events would transform his campaign from a long shot to a dominant force. His campaign, at first, lacked clear organization and seemed doomed to fail. But as Trump's legal troubles mounted, so did his support. He played the victim card masterfully, using every indictment to remind his supporters that he was fighting against what he called a corrupt system. His ability to turn negatives into positives became one of the key factors that shaped his 2024 run. The indictments, a political lifeline. Trump was indicted 4 times after leaving office, facing serious charges, including election interference, mishandling classified documents, and falsifying business records. Conventional wisdom dictated that these legal troubles would destroy any political career. Yet these indictments became his most effective fundraising tool. His base viewed him as a victim of political persecution, fueling record-breaking donations. Each indictment only strengthened his image as a fighter against the so-called deep state. His opponents hesitated to attack him over his legal troubles, allowing him to dominate the Republican primary unchallenged. His trial proceedings, rather than weakening him, gave him free media coverage. Every courtroom appearance turned into a spectacle, keeping him in the headlines, while his competitors struggled for attention. The fundraising surge, turning crisis into cash. Following his conviction on 34 felony counts in New York, Trump's campaign raked in an astonishing $34.8 million in small-dollar donations in just 24 hours. His team masterfully framed the verdict as a political hit job, rallying voters who felt alienated by the establishment. The GOP base responded with overwhelming enthusiasm, cementing his financial war chest and making it nearly impossible for other Republican candidates to compete. His ability to raise funds at record levels forced the Republican Party to back him fully, uniting the GOP behind his candidacy. This financial strength allowed his campaign to outspend Harris in key battleground states, running aggressive ad campaigns that reinforced his messages on immigration, the economy, and crime. His war chest also enabled a highly sophisticated voter outreach operation, targeting key swing state demographics with precision.
People don't go to her rallies. There's no reason to go.
Messaging mastery, the border, and the economy. Trump's campaign focused heavily on 2 key issues: immigration and the economy. Polls indicated that these were top concerns for voters, and Trump played into them perfectly. He painted a bleak picture of America's southern border, warning of an invasion and claiming that migrants were poisoning the blood of our country. While controversial, these remarks resonated with his supporters, who felt the Biden administration had lost control of border security. On the economy, Trump leveraged inflation concerns, high interest rates, and fears of recession to portray himself as the only leader who could restore economic stability. He reminded voters of the economic growth during his presidency, while blaming Biden for rising prices and economic uncertainty. His economic messaging focused on tax cuts, deregulation, and bringing back American manufacturing jobs. This narrative helped him make significant gains with working-class voters in the Rust Belt, an area that ultimately proved critical in securing his victory. The strategic ground game, learning from past mistakes. Unlike his chaotic 2020 campaign, Trump's 2024 team ran a far more disciplined and data-driven operation. Instead of relying solely on massive rallies, they zeroed in on persuadable voters in key battleground states. Field teams targeted undecided voters in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, ensuring every potential supporter was reached. This strategic shift proved critical in securing narrow victories in swing states. Trump also focused on ballot harvesting strategies where legally allowed, ensuring Republican votes were banked early. This was a stark contrast to 2020 when he discouraged early voting, a mistake that likely cost him that election.
She has a plan to confiscate everybody's gun.
The Biden debate disaster, a game changer. One of the most defining moments of the election came during the presidential debate between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Biden, struggling with age-related concerns, delivered a performance that left even his staunchest supporters worried. His fumbles and incoherent responses reinforced voter concerns about his ability to serve another term. For the next 2 weeks, Trump's campaign took a rare step. They laid low, allowing Biden's missteps to dominate headlines unchallenged. Biden's performance was so disastrous that Democratic donors began pressuring party leaders to replace him on the ticket. This moment shifted the entire race, opening the door for Harris to step in. The assassination attempt, the unthinkable happens. Then, in a shocking turn of events, an assassination attempt on Trump's life rocked the nation. The bullet came within inches of taking his life, but Trump miraculously survived. His immediate return to the campaign trail, bandaged but defiant, galvanized his base. His resilience became a symbol of strength, and his supporters rallied behind him like never before. The assassination attempt turned him into a political martyr, making his victory all the more inevitable. The Harris factor. A new challenger rises. Following Biden's disastrous debate performance, Vice President Kamala Harris stepped in as the Democratic nominee. For the first time in the race, Trump's campaign faced a real challenge. Harris brought renewed energy to the Democratic base, particularly among younger and minority voters. The Trump team, which had been highly disciplined up to that point, began to show cracks. Trump, visibly agitated, started making off-the-cuff remarks that risked alienating moderate voters. However, Harris struggled to distance herself from the unpopular Biden administration, which ultimately sealed her fate.
I mean, honestly, I think it's a tragedy that we have
The Trump-Musk alliance, a billionaire boost. In a strategic move, Trump aligned himself with billionaire entrepreneur Elon Musk. The Tesla CEO, who had previously been critical of both parties, gave Trump an unexpected boost by endorsing him. Musk's backing helped Trump gain traction among disaffected young men and tech-savvy voters who felt alienated by progressive policies. Together, they pushed a narrative of free speech and innovation over government intervention, resonating strongly with a key demographic. The final stretch, the last-minute push to victory. In the closing days of the campaign, Trump ramped up his appearances in battleground states. He hit Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Arizona hard, emphasizing his signature issues, immigration and the economy. Harris, on the other hand, struggled to distance herself from the Biden administration's failures. Trump's team relentlessly reminded voters that she was part of the status quo they wanted to change. And there you have it, the key moments that shaped one of the most dramatic elections in U.S. history. Whether you supported Trump or Harris, there's no denying that this election will be talked about for years to come. What do you think was the biggest turning point in this race? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on major political events. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.